Hello and welcome to Move or Improve with Debbie. I'm your host, Debbie Miller. And today I'm going to talk about a subject. We've been covering a series on where to retire in various places. And today I'm going to spend the whole time talking about retiring to Florida. But I'm not going to talk about a specific area. I'm going to have guests in future segments talk about specific areas. But I'm basically just going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of retiring to Florida. So let me start by saying, though, don't send me hate mail because I love Florida. I really do. But I'm probably not going to move there for a variety of reasons, but that doesn't stop me from thinking about it, and I visit frequently. And I've helped many people over the years sell their homes and move to Florida. And many people I know are thinking about it, but you're unsure. So I'm going to dig in and discuss some things that you may or may not have thought about. And just remember, vacationing in Florida is not the same as living there year round. So keep that in mind as I'm talking. So I'm going to talk about the pros of living in Florida and retiring there first. First thing is housing is incredibly affordable. The average price for a home in 2019 was $370,000, and that's for a 2,500 square foot residence. So if you can get by with less square footage, let's say you're a single person and you want a condo that's maybe 1,000, 1,500 square feet, you're going to make out like a bandit. You'll save a whole lot more. Many of my clients have sold their $800,000 home or more, and then they bought a $350,000 home and they had money left for travel, or they bought an investment property, or they just put it aside for savings. Second thing about Florida that I love is it has a wonderful mix of cultures and people. It's very cosmopolitan, culturally mixed population. There's lots of different groups and types of people of all ages. I think it's one of the most diverse states in the nation. If you think of Florida as a bunch of people from other states and countries living together, you'll have a good idea of what you'll find. In Florida, people come from just about everywhere, Northeast, Midwest, other countries. And, many of them are snowbirds. You heard about that. They spend the winter month away from their snow-laden homes up north. And then they leave when the summer sets in. But many are year-round residents. Floridians enjoy a variety of cuisines, which I love. There's seafood fresh from the water, tropical fruit everywhere. Key lime pie is a Florida favorite. Cuban sandwiches abound, but be sure to try the Columbia restaurant in Ybor City if you're checking out Tampa Bay. It's the oldest restaurant in Florida. It was established in 1905. It's the largest Spanish restaurant in the world. It seats 1,700 people, and the tile work is amazing. It's absolutely stunning. Third thing to like about Florida is there's plenty of outdoor things to do. If you can't find something to do, then it's not going to be for you. Florida's park system has hiking trails, fishing, boating, camping, horseback riding, swimming, surfing, snorkeling, so much more. And the coastline around the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean combined is almost 8,500 miles. That's a lot of sunny beaches. And so you can go surfing or look for seashells. You can boat, fish. Everything is waiting for you to enjoy. Fourth pro to living in Florida, there's a lower cost of living, so that allows you to enjoy more and stretch your dollars. The tax burden is lower. It's one of 7 states that doesn't have an income tax. And there's no estate or inheritance tax either. No state income tax. Your Social Security and pensions aren't taxed. If you're living solo, a widow can receive a credit on her property taxes if she never remarried. And there's a homestead exemption for those who maintain a primary residence in Florida. But you want to check out the property taxes. The money to run the state has to come from somewhere. So figure out if the taxes that you will be paying are ones that make you feel comfortable. Another thing is you can choose from urban or rural living. Big city excitement like Miami or Tampa or Jacksonville or Orlando may beckon you. It will take a while to decide which lifestyle you like more. So plan on visiting each spot that you're interested in and stay for a length of time so you get the feel for what's down there. The next thing that I think is a good pro is there's good medical care for an aging population, since so much of Florida is aging. They have a lot of well-funded cancer treatment centers, major university teaching hospitals, and a myriad of medical centers are available throughout the state. The next thing is a good pro. I've had so many people say they don't want to say the S word, snow. So you can pretty much get rid of your heavy coats and other winter wear. Yeah, occasionally it gets cold. I know people who wear sweaters when it goes below 70, but most of the year you'll be in flip-flops and sandals, so you'll save money on clothing too. Next pro is whether you like it or not. There are many theme parks to enjoy and out of the way places to visit too. It's really hard to become bored. There's lakes and rivers to explore. You can grow lemons and oranges and grapefruit in your backyard, assuming your HOA allows it. So check on that if you're moving into a community, gated community that has an HOA. The next thing, though, that I absolutely love about Florida is the gorgeous sunsets. I mean, they are stunning. And if people go to Key West and stand out on the pier and watch the sunset and bring their drinks, and it's a ritual, a daily ritual to watch the sunset. Another thing you'll like about Florida, I think, is many vibes in the diverse state. There are so many, you have to explore as many places as you can, because you can go all over Florida, and each place you visit, you will have a different vibe or feel. So you need to really decide which regions of Florida interest you the most. Do you want the Panhandle? Do you want the Gulf Coast, the Atlantic side? Each of Florida's metro areas even has its own vibe. North Florida has rolling hills and countryside. Key West and other Florida keys are laid back to chill out. And Orlando is heavily under the influence of tourism from Disney, Universal Studios, and smaller attractions. So you will get bumper to bumper traffic. It is a good place to buy an investment property if you're so inclined. Orlando is centrally located, so enjoying the beach does require a drive. Miami's high rises and South Beach nightlife may appeal to you. Miami really feels like New York City moved to the Caribbean. Miami is experiencing changes as the New Englanders move there to escape the higher taxes. And Naples on the Gulf Coast is one of the wealthiest cities in the U.S. And oh, it's gorgeous, just gorgeous, and great shopping, beautiful beaches. But the Atlantic coast has swanky Palm Beach with great shopping, and it's known for its glitzy estates and its beaches, including the long, sandy Palm Beach Municipal Beach. And Worth Avenue, lots of upscale boutiques, galleries, and restaurants. And you're going to want to check out Boca Raton, Boynton Beach, Delray Beach if you like the Atlantic coastline. But on the Gulf side, Sarasota has plenty of beaches, great restaurants, and stores in St. Armand's Circle. Sarasota, unfortunately, is getting crowded as more baby boomers move there. But you might try out Lakewood Ranch, which is nearby. It's a very large master plan community. I think it's second in the country as far as size after the Villages. But, if a college town appeals to you, you want to take classes, you want to maybe check out Gainesville, home of the University of Florida. But again, you have to drive to the beach, but Fort Lauderdale and Daytona Beach are on the Atlantic Ocean side. Jimmy Buffett liked the area enough to build one of his Latitude Margaritaville communities near Daytona. Now, there's a real beach vibe. He's planning another one called Watersound near Destin in the Panhandle that's getting a lot of attention. And you want to check out maybe his community in Panama City as well, if you like Jimmy Buffett and being a parrot head. Jacksonville is becoming more desirable due to its large size, cosmopolitan lifestyle. It's near the beach, and there's lots of entertainment and restaurants. I personally love Tampa myself. I love the airport, the way they've redone it, and there's so much to do there. And I love going on the Riverwalk. It's a great place to relax or run, and the restaurants and year-round activities abound. If you go to Eulalie's on the Riverwalk, tell them I said hello. I love their fried oysters. Tampa also has a campus for the University of South Florida and the University of Tampa if you're interested in that sort of thing. And Busch Gardens is there. And the Gasparilla Pirate Festival is a fun activity, too, for all ages. And not far from Tampa is a charming town called Dunedin. Yes, it's the Scottish takeoff on Dunedin in Scotland, but it's got a small town vibe. It's absolutely charming water views, interesting shops, great restaurants. I could go on, but you get the idea. The next pro to Florida, though, is enjoying the manatees. They're very large mammals. They weigh up to 3,500 pounds, but they're peace-loving, slow-moving herbivores, and they're native to Florida. They've been designated the official marine mammal of the state. They are an endangered species, but the official state animal is the panther, is also an endangered species. The official state bird is the northern mockingbird. The official state freshwater fish is the Florida largemouth bass. The official Florida saltwater fish is the Atlantic sailfish. There's many other categories of official Florida animals, but these are the main ones. So now that I've got you hooked on moving to Florida, let's talk about the cons of living there, just so you can't say I didn't tell you. First thing to think about, it's hot and humid. And I would strongly suggest you plan one of your visits during the month of July, August, or September, even though it's hurricane season. If you can stand it in those months, you'll be able to love it in January. I once had a meeting that I had to attend in Naples, and that's further south. So it was held in August because they wanted to take advantage of lower hotel rates. Well, the best way to describe the heat and humidity there in August was it felt like I was wrapped in a wet wool blanket. But as I said, if you can stay in Florida in August, you're going to love it in January. During the hotter months, many year-round residents leave the area for cooler climates. But even in the shade, you still sweat. So be sure your air conditioning is working and you have a good contract, maintenance contract on it, because you're going to need it. The second thing, which some people think may be a pro, but I think it might be a con, I asked several people who had moved to Florida what their least favorite things were, and tourists. I mean, you got 100 million people visiting Florida every year, so cars will be bumper to bumper. Like in Orlando, you go 5 miles an hour if you're lucky. And the other thing to think about is hurricanes. I mean, the season runs from beginning of June to the end of November. Peak times for storms are August, September, October. Lots of rain, even if there isn't any hurricane in the forecast. It rains a lot and rains heavily. If that concerns you, then make sure you have a generator installed to keep your AC running during power outages. Another thing that's interesting is Florida is the lightning capital of the U.S. Of the top 30 cities with the most lightning strikes, Florida has 17 of them. Tampa and Cape Coral are numbers 1 and 2. Hialeah, Palm Beach, Miramar, and Jacksonville are also in the top 10. So be careful if you're out playing golf. You don't want to stay out there if the storm's coming. Some people have mixed feelings about this. There aren't any seasons in Florida. So if you're used to watching leaves turn color, enjoying the spring trees and the blooming flowers, be prepared to live year-round without them. Palm trees do not have flowers on them like the dogwoods do in other areas. But you won't miss the pollen, so that'll be nice. But it is pretty much the same beautiful weather all year round with the exception of the hurricane season. Another negative or con to Florida retirement is there's a growing population. There'll be lots of company if you retire to Florida. There's already more than 3.5 million Florida residents that are 65 and over. And this number is increasing substantially as the baby boomers move there. Census projections predict 4.5 million people over the age of 65 in the next several years. And that number they expect to grow to 6 million rapidly. And the drawback to that is, you may say, hey, that everybody else wants to go there. Why not? The growth, but it increases the strain on the infrastructure and the natural resources like water. So you want to track and see what the state of Florida is doing